What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host for today, Raj Corny, also known as @RajFormer on the internet. And welcome back to Simply Indie, the show where I talk about a video game that happens to be independently developed, review it, talk about it with you all, and we have a good old time. This week we're talking about Welkin Road. Welkin Road is a really cool video game that is all about parkour and jumping around, using your grappling hooks, gaining momentum, going as fast as you can, dropping, and learning mechanics of velocity. And of course, it's going to get comparisons to Mirror's Edge because that is the premier game that has to do with parkour and running really fast. But this game, surprisingly, is a lot different. I think it's because of just what they're going for. First things first, right off the back, just by looking at Welkin Road, you can totally tell it's something different. This game is all about the gameplay. It's about running around. It's about the pure mechanics of the game, and it isn't as story focused as Mirror's Edge at all. Like, this game has no story, and the graphics of Welkin Road is clearly very sparse and minimalistic on purpose, and that goes doubly for the sound design in this game. It's very sparse, super ambient noise driven. It's just very calming. Same thing with the graphic design. This game is all about minimalism and just kind of being poppy without having to make huge buildings. It's just very simple. It's a little bit weird, especially when you see a human hand and you're like, oh, okay, there's a human here and he's just running around on different surfaces that are just plain squares. Art's nothing to write home about, so is the music, but it's just there and it works, it's serviceable. So this game is all about parkour. You're running, you're getting speed. The thing I love about it that I think it would be a make or break if this game didn't do it really well is the sense of velocity and also height and depth. You get a lot of that in this game. When you're falling, it feels like you're falling. You feel that rush. I was doing the thing during this game where when I was falling, I literally would move and like somehow think that that would make me move a little bit further. I cared about the movement. I was into it. There is this really good sense of depth and what is going on in it, and that was perfect for this game. It needed it and it works so well. Going into what this game is actually about and what you actually do in the game, of course you're trying to get to the end of the level. You're just trying to get there through a various series of obstacles and sort of environmental puzzles. Each level kind of introduces you to a brand new mechanic or obstacle, if you were, and you using your grappling hooks go and get to the end of the level. The thing I like about this is that most of the actual environmental additives or anything that they add to the game in each of the level is really unique. They add a lot to the game. It really makes this game more complicated and not just like, okay, you're grappling, what next? There's a lot there, including boosts and things that allow you to grapple onto anything or variations of that. Since this game is early access, of course, you can see by the title, I'm excited to see what they do when they add more levels to this game and add more mechanics because, wow, they're so good at that, and I think that they're really, really going down a good road. I honestly think that there could be a lot more interesting things when they start updating it and adding more to it and see what the community says, because what they have here is really solid. And they use those new mechanics, these new orbs, if you will, in really cool ways, whether that be in very simplistic ways, which my favorite way that they use these is that they just have sometimes just one orb, and you have to get from one area to another, and there's one orb in the middle. And you would think that'd be super easy, right? Just grapple onto it and let go at a certain time, but no, there's a lot more to it. Sometimes you have to shift your body weight and go to a left, and then you'll, use that body weight to go even further. Maybe you have to climb up the grappling hook a little bit more. Maybe you have to use two grappling hooks. There's so much there, and honestly, there's a lot of variations that you can do to get to the end of a level or get to the end of a certain puzzle. It just matters about how you're looking at this. You have to really look at this in a very physics-based way and a very logical way. Really cool, and most of the time it works. The times it doesn't work, this is the big problem for me. Some of the game really focuses on super pixel perfect accuracy, and I would be fine with that if the mechanics allowed for it and didn't make it completely frustrating. The main thing that is a problem with this game is the grappling mechanic. When you see an orb or something that you can grapple onto, usually it will highlight, hey, look, you can press this button right now and you can connect to it. But there is a cutoff point to how long and how far away you have to be to grapple onto something. And that cutoff point is super short, and it honestly feels like I'm jumping and I'm like, oh, I can totally make it. And for a split second, it shows that I can make it, and I click the button, and then it's just gone. There needs to be a little bit of room for error because it becomes absolutely frustrating, and it really ruins some amazing level designed areas that are just really, really cool and are super fun. You can feel the velocity going through your blood and you're like, this is great. And there's one little area that the game is just very, very tight on, and you're like, you see it, and then you fall. And it's not necessarily my fault because I clearly see that it's working, but there is no grace period there. Kind of ruins a good time. And also, I just want to say that the game just didn't work for me at the beginning. When I had this game and I got it for PR, I put it into Steam and I would play it, and after a few minutes, the game would actually crash my computer. After doing that at least 7 times and rebooting my computer hard, I would have to email the developer and say, hey, listen, this game's not working. And they gave me a simple patch and it works now, and I just had to put something into the properties menu. The fact that the game just didn't work, like right off the bat, I understand it's early access, but that was just like an absolute mess for me. Of course, there's some obstacles that are really annoying as well. Like there's just one where it's just a black wall and you can connect to any point of it. It felt so clunky and out of place, and it just didn't work. My character would honestly just like clip through some things and it would get stuck, and it just didn't feel like it worked in the context of this game. It didn't work with the art style. It didn't work with what the game was going for. And I just felt like that those mechanics were very clunky. Again, this game's all about mechanics and going as fast as possible and really learning every nitty gritty of the game. Even though the large majority of the game works really well, some of the things like that are basic that should work, like the grappling or maybe this black wall, just don't really work too well. Again, this is going to be tweaking. They might fix it in the future, but right now it is a major problem. Sure, the game has problems and it demands a lot of pixel perfect accuracy for some of their levels, but other than that, there were some sequences and levels in this game that were so exhilarating, going fast as possible. It has all these really cool puzzle mechanics that you have to learn and you have to really engross yourself into. And I found myself super into it. The game itself, when it works and when the mechanics are really good, is amazing and fantastic. The last few levels are so good. There's 11 levels right now. The game is long, I would say 11 hours, because it took me about an hour for each level. The game has problems quite clearly with its mechanics, with running on the walls and shooting grappling hooks. It has problems, but with a little bit of tweaking, I could totally see this game being absolutely fantastic, especially with the new obstacles that they add every single level, because some of those are just so fun and cool. One of my favorites is the slide where you just go super fast and you have to kind of stop yourself really fast. Super cool stuff. Yeah, and I recommend the game. Once I looked past those things and I honestly started playing the game, I had a ton of fun. Even though some levels are frustrating and annoying, I feel like those things can be really easily fixed, and I think they are going to be fixed by the developers. And right now, as the game stands, I honestly think it's a fun time. Yeah, what do you guys think in the comments down below? Tell me if you like this game. If you want to tweet at me, tweet at me at RatchWarmer, RatchWarmer.com, all that jazz. Love you all. Bye-bye.